My friends, American OG-san here. You can call me Jimmy. You know I post a lot, and you probably wonder how in the hell I make things so fast. I don't really know. I'm going to do a quick drawing. It's going to be a symmetry drawing. If you follow my page, you know that I'm really fond of doing these. Just got my trusty graphics tablet, and I'm not going to talk too much. Let's just get with it. I really like starting with a black background. If my computer will ever catch up, we'll get going here. Come on now. Alright. You would think someday I would organize all my brushes, but I never remember where anything's at. Okay. We're ready. Let's get going. So the first thing to remember when you're doing the symmetry painting is this little doohickey right in the middle. Move that down out of your way, because I guarantee you when you start making this painting, if you're doing symmetry, at some point you're going to accidentally grab that thing and move it, and then it is a pain in the butt to try to get it back centered sometimes. So here we go. Really been getting into the vampire girls lately, so let's do another mean old vampire girl. So I'll just kind of start getting a rough sketch of the face. And of course her mouth is going to be open, showing off those fangs. Alright. So once I kind of get this going, and I kind of get the basic layout of what I'm going for here. That neck is way too big. There we go. Then I'll raise my brush up, put the opacity all the way up, and we'll get started. I'm going to try to do this fairly quickly because I don't really want to make this a speed painting video. I just want to make a quick video, if you know what I mean. That way I can just kind of go over some of my techniques, and then someday I'll do a big long speed painting video where I really take my time and do something spectacular. So, you know, if you're painting a female face, of course you guys know it's like two hearts stacked on top of each other. You know, you got this heart and then this heart. Just remember that little trick, and that way you won't spend so much time trying to line out your faces. Okay, so that's my base layer right there. So we're going to go ahead and add another layer. And this is where I'll start putting in some black once I kind of determine how evil I want this one to be. Just some basic shading right now. Sketchbook has a ton of awesome texture brushes that you can use, and I'll use a couple of them on this one, but I'll try not to get too crazy with it, because this video I just kind of want to show you more about how I draw these than all the little tricks that I use. And so on the second layer I like to go ahead and put the lips in. This is all personal preference on everything. There's no right or wrong way to draw any of this stuff. It's just based on your preferences, what you think looks cool. And I will tell you something about my art, and hopefully everybody's art. You make these things for you, and you make what you enjoy making. Don't try to conform to anybody else. This art is all about expression. It's not about skill. It's not about the lines. It's about what you're trying to convey. Just the feeling you have, you know. Sometimes I've had a long, hard-ass day at work, and I just want to sit down and draw for a little bit. And a lot of those quick drawings you'll see, that's where they come from. Sometimes I'll sit down after a 13-hour work day and post like 4 drawings. And like I said, I got some little tricks I use to speed up the process, but we're not really going to get into those today. We're just going to make a basic evil vampire girl face here. And this is by no means a tutorial for any of my pro buddies out there. This is just, thought it'd be kind of cool to show my process on what I do. It's always cool to watch somebody else's style, how they come about the things that they do. And I'd love to see everybody else's too. Made a lot of new and great friends here on DeviantArt. I love the place, love everything about it, and I love how supportive everybody is. So this is just me giving you a little behind the scenes glimpse at how I do these things. Whenever I find a quiet few minutes at my house, this is what I do. So let's see here. I've been using kind of the snake fangs lately. I think I may try to come up with some different fangs here in the near future, just to change things up a little bit. And you know, with your fangs, with everything about your piece, it is really what you like, what you think is cool. So again, you know, don't try to please anybody else with your work. You just do your thing and put it out there. And the folks that appreciate it, that like it, will become fans of yours, and they're fans of your style, not your version of somebody else's style. Just remember that. So one thing I've kind of been working on lately is adding in some tongue to these paintings. I just think it looks better. And I think I'm gonna do one where maybe I can get one of these girls licking their lips or something like that. And I think that would look pretty cool. But I'm not gonna do that on this one. I'm just gonna have the tongue kind of hanging out there. And like I said, I'm not gonna get super detailed with this one. I'm just doing some basic shading, some just basic work here. Just kind of looking everything over. See if I'm done with this layer before I go on. Yeah, we'll add a little bit around here. And notice how I left my brush small just so I can get some of these lines in. Just a little bit of detail. Just to make it pop a little bit, as my old drawing teacher would tell me. You know, on these black and white pictures especially, the trick is to make it pop. And what I mean by that is, you know, you want your blacks to make your whites pop, and your white to make your black pop. And we'll give her a little outline of a body here, but we're not going to get too crazy with the body. Just going to kind of do the face and the hair. Try to keep this video short, maybe hold your interest. I do like the speed painting videos, I think they're cool, but I also like the real-time ones too. I like watching people work in real time and kind of talk about their process. Alright. Like I said, not going to get super detailed with this outfit, just a suggestion of one, really. And cool thing is with these, you can just blend it right in. Alright. Alright, good enough for government work right there. Alright. So there we go, not too bad. Gonna make that chin pop a little bit. We'll put some shading down here on her neck. Alright. Now a lot of people use Photoshop, and that's cool, and I probably would too if that's what I had started with, but I kind of cut my teeth on Sketchbook and on Autodesk, because a long time ago I was going to school for CAD, and you know, that's all Autodesk software, so I ended up with the Autodesk suite, and part of the suite was Sketchbook. So nothing against Photoshop, it's probably a superior, but I've just gotten used to Sketchbook, and I think Sketchbook is actually free now. This is not the free version. So if you get the free version, it's not going to have quite the same setup options. So just be aware of that. But it is cool. A lot of the early work that I put on DeviantArt was actually done with the free version, so it's not bad. But you know, you definitely, if you're going to get crazy into this, probably need to go ahead and fess up the $15 a month and get you a enterprise version. And it's just a few more options, but they are cool options and things that will help you out. Alright. Give her just a little bit more. I like the imperfect kind of textures. I just think they feel natural. So, you know, kind of when I started this area, I was thinking about going back and fixing it, but I kind of like the way it looks, so I'm just going to leave it. A lot of my artwork and my art pieces, they don't start off with any kind of particular plan, and I think you could probably tell that from some of them. And I just kind of let it take me where it's going to take me. And usually it guides me to the right place. Alright, so now this gal needs some hair. And let's see here. I kind of, just for the sake of speed, we are going to cheat a little bit, and we're going to use one of these textures. Now, like I said, Sketchbook is full of these textures that you can download, textured brushes that people have made custom, and they're really cool, and you can make your own. I'm sure you can probably do the same thing in Photoshop. like I said, I just haven't played with Photoshop, so I don't know Photoshop that well. I just know Sketchbook. And this is actually a cloud texture brush that I'm using. And if you follow my art very much, you will see this particular brush a lot. And I'll tell you why. Because this brush just kind of triggers my imagination. Have you ever just sit outside and looked up at the clouds, and then you start seeing things in the clouds, right? You start seeing shapes. Well, that's kind of what I do with this thing. Sometimes I will just sit here and play with the clouds until I see something, until something pops out at me, until something comes out and says hello to me. And then we'll go from there. And then I start going back and getting all detailed in and adding all my textures and making everything look cool. Alright, so we're going to add just a little bit more color to this hair, and then we're going to go fix the eyes, and then we're going to call this one good because, like I said, this is just a quick kind of demonstration. Oh, I guess I should give her some ears too. I don't know if you go back and look at some of my early stuff, you can see where I was either just too lazy or I just flat ass forgot to put ears on some of my old paintings. I think it's pretty funny. You know, art's not perfect, and it's the illusion, it's the suggestion of a line is more powerful than a line to me. And I like to make art that makes people think and try to figure out what the hell I was thinking when I made it. And that's pretty fun for me, just to kind of know that I triggered your imagination with it. Alright. You know what I think? Let's see. Alright. The thing with the textures on the skin, if I'm doing some evil creature, I like to have it bleed kind of into a not so smooth skin tone, especially around the hairline, because I almost kind of want it to look like it's got a brave face on, but it's rotting, and kind of like it's hiding, waiting to get you. And forgive me for just a second here. I've got to find this one brush that I'm looking for. There she is. This is another brush that you'll see quite a bit in my drawings. I really like this one as part of the grunge set. And it's just kind of an old school line, but it kind of leaves little threads and feathers around it, and I really like it. Now I really got into the symmetry painting, and sometimes I try to get away from it on purpose, but I kind of got into it just because it does allow me very quickly to get this piece of work out of my head. You know, some people like it, some people don't, and again, this is just one of those situations where you make sure that the art that you're making is for you. You know, as in, you know, don't try to please everybody with it. You just make what you feel, And the folks that appreciate it will appreciate it. If you start trying to live up to some unrealistic expectations, start putting a lot of pressure on yourself, well, then this won't be fun anymore. And for me, it's just a fun outlet. And again, all of these creatures and weird things that come out of my head, I just like to get them out of my head and into the world, so that they are out there. If that makes any sense. Okay, so we're just about done here. Probably if I was going to work on this for a lot longer, you know, I would go and put some texture in, some more textures on the skin. You guys know me. Part of the reason I named my group Heavy Digital is because I want my work to look heavy. I want it to look like it would weigh 10 pounds if you picked it up off the screen. I just like a lot of textures. And of course this one, you know, this is a good start, but I would definitely go in and do a whole lot more texture work. But the last thing that we're going to do, and one of my favorite parts of a drawing, is we're going to go do the eyes. And it's real simple with the eyes. You can either just use a white brush, or they have this glow brush here that I really like using. So again, the suggestion part is my favorite. That brush is way too big. So here we go. We're going to take that way down, because we're going to put our glow in your eyes, a little reflection in your eyes, and I don't like it too strong. Alright, so let's get in here. So, no, I don't like it there. I'm going to put it about right there. You know what, actually, we're going to make that a little bigger. Okay. We're going to shrink this down, and then we're going to turn this baby way up. All the way up. Then we're going to put one there, and then we'll go a little bit smaller and put a small one there. Okay. Let's zoom out and see what we got. See, and the eyes kind of do the whole thing for me. You know, it's all about the eyes. Now, another little trick I like to do is down here, back on my layers, back toward the bottom, I'll just create another layer. And not Photoshop, Sketchbook gets a little weird with the layers sometimes, so you got to be careful with them. And so on this layer, what I'm doing is I'm just going to put a little glow behind this person, if I can get my stuff to work here. Then when you're doing this big giant glow like this, turn your opacity way down, because I can work this in and just keep brightening it up to the point where I want it. That looks pretty cool right there. Alright guys, so there it is. I've seen some YouTube videos from some of my buddies on this site, and I just thought that I would post a quick one. I'll go back and clean this thing up, and I'll make it look pretty, then I'll put it on DeviantArt, and then you can say that you watch me draw this thing. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this, you liked it. Hopefully my sexy southern accent doesn't scare you off. But anyway, appreciate you guys watching. Love DeviantArt. DeviantArt Morgue, those guys on that group, they have been the most supportive folks on this whole page for me. I would not be doing half of what I'm doing now if it wasn't for those guys. So really appreciate you guys. Till the next video, Oji-san out.